So the next step for us is to get this ready for the laser. The first thing we want to do is to change these black shapes into just outlines. Outlines that the laser can follow as a path. So at the moment this shape has a black fill and no outline. We can tell that by looking over at this section over here. You can see black fill and transparent stroke. What we want to do is we want to switch those around, but we can do all of these at once. Now I could hold down shift and select each shape, or the other thing that I can do is if I go to select at the top and choose same, and if I choose appearance, it will automatically select any shapes on the page that look the same as that one. All of these were created at the same time, so they all have the same appearance, so it selects all of the black fill shapes. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip it so that instead of having a black fill, it has a transparent fill. Instead of having a transparent outline, it has a black outline. So just by pressing those arrows at the side, it flips. So now what I've got is a black outline for each one of my components. Black outline, no fill. The next step we want to do is we want to retain our shapes when they're lasered out. And what I mean by that is when it cuts out this elephant shape, it's going to cut out the whole shape. And when I go to pick up this square piece of wood, that elephant shape may be left on the laser bed. In order to make sure it retains with the piece of wood, I'm just going to cut a small section out of the outline in a subtle place so that it will stay attached to that piece of wood. Now we want that attachment to be very, very small and subtle so that we can break it and snap it off later, so we can actually remove it from the main piece of square wood. The way that we're going to do that is to use the scissors tool. So the scissors tool is hidden behind the eraser tool, and it's the one that looks like this. It looks like a pair of scissors, obviously. And we're going to select that, and all we're going to do is we're going to click in 2 places along that path, just to make a very subtle, small section. Now, when you click off it, it looks like it's still one complete line. But if I zoom in and start to hover, you can see where that break is. Can you see how the blue line appears? If I select it and press delete, you can see that we've got a very small, subtle break. That may actually be a little bit too big. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to undo that one. And I'm going to try again, but maybe this time I'm going to zoom in a little more. Now it's important that we put this gap in quite a small place. And the reason for that is, if we put this on the top, when we snap it off, it might splint a little bit. And we don't really want that in an obvious place, like on the top surfaces. We want it to be in somewhere where it doesn't matter, it's not as visually noticeable. So by putting it on the bottom there, that's going to help to retain it. Now I'm going to do the same thing with the ears. I'm going to zoom in a little bit on this. And again, I'm going to put it somewhere near the bottom. Okay, and I can just press delete, and then that disappears from there. Now the one place I don't want to put it on the bottom is on the bottom of the feet. And the reason is for that, it's probably quite obvious. If it splinters along the bottom of the feet, it's not going to be very level, and it'll start to be wonky and wave around. So I'm going to put it on the back of the thigh. Now if you get an error message that looks like this, it means you missed the line when you clicked. So all you do is press OK, and then we can try again. Oh, it's click on the handle, so maybe if I click on the anchor, there we go. So let's just have a look and make sure that we've got a complete line there. There it is. Now I'm going to go through and do that for each one of my shapes. Just put one small, maybe about this size, break in it so that it's retained when the thing is lasered out and not left on the laser bed.